you. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudiraye. Jai Gurudev. Stop the share. I think we will share what our takeaways are, and then we'll go to the text.
Hari Om. Swamiji has described very well the Kshanti, Arjava and Shraddha. The very beautiful thing what I liked is like the other person, without thinking how he has behaved or she has behaved, like it is like as Gurudev always says, no, you cannot expect Karela to be a sweet. So it is, we have to keep our antakaran pure, ragadvesha rahit, so that we can have that kshanti, the accommodativeness, as well as that arjavam, where our vani, vachan, vichar, everything is in complete alignment. It's very beautiful. Dhanyavad.
And he also talks of how karma can be converted to a duty, and how, in spite of your birth, you can upgrade yourself to Satvika Shraddha, so to say. If in this birth you're given you're born as a Vaishya or born as a Sudra, that is by your guna or your karma. But if you do your duty, your whatever you're doing, your karma, you're doing it as a duty, then that itself scales you up. And that beautiful verse that Shankara has quoted from the Apastamba Smriti is that you will be born in a place conducive for your spiritual growth. So that is the Adrishta Phala of doing your duty. Of course, but you will not do it with that in mind. If you do it just as duty, that becomes part of your karma yoga. It will anyway happen, but you don't do that for that. That dispassion, when that dispassion comes in, that is, you're not doing it for enjoying things here and hereafter. It's not, I should get a good birth in heaven or good birth in the next life. That intention is also not there. With that dispassion, if you do your duty, and this duty is whatever has to be done, has to be done. Like that in the Kaushika story, the butcher, his duty was to cut meat, and that was what he was doing. Because in the fabric of society, you are given some slot in this janma. That slot you have to fulfill completely. I think yesterday, when what we read, Swamiji was talking of a piston suddenly decides, I don't want to function. I don't like this function of mine. I don't want to function. Then the whole machine will come to a grinding halt. So that is the swadharma that everybody has, and following that.
Yeah,
Jai
very
Gurudev.
beautiful.
But unlike the piston, the butcher has a choice to shift his profession, right? For me, that is a adharmic profession. I may not want to do that at under any condition, but he has that choice, isn't it?
See, for instance, there are people who he has to sustain. There are people who eat meat and he has to be part of, he is that slot, he's given that slot for himself. Not for himself, he's given that slot. And this slot is from his own purva karmas, purva janma, whatever he's done. That is what Swamiji very beautifully talked about grace. Grace is not something other than what you have. It is you have created your blueprint yourself. From your own karmas, your own past actions. Whatever that phala comes, that adrishta phala that comes is called grace. It is not somewhere God sitting somewhere in heaven, he's judging you and giving you positive, negative, or he's condemning you or, judging you or elevating you. It is our own doing. So the butcher he's in a butcher's place because out of his own past karma, his prarabdha karma. So if he thinks, I don't like what I'm doing, I like the profession of a tailor, or I like the profession of a person who is cooking or singing, that becomes paradharma for him, isn't it?
But as long as he is liking that work and he's comfortable, it's fine. But then if he is not liking that, and just because he's born in that family and he keeps doing that work, then where is the viveka comes in? Like I might have been doing the partying and all, but somewhere I changed my lifestyle, right, for better. I mean, that's what I think. That's for my betterment. Then why butcher has to keep doing the adharmic work? Right now I feel that is adharmic work, because eating non-veg or providing non-veg for others, for me it is adharmic work. Then why should I be doing that? As long as he knows this knowledge, should he not be changing his profession? And
Excuse
Hello,
Valya,
I think he does not know this knowledge, and in Muslim, meat eating is allowed. So if a butcher is a Muslim and it is his tradition in his family, he carries on doing the same work, just like our craftsmen do only that skilled labor of making statues in a temple. In the same manner, he is doing it with a lot of finish. And they also say prayers before cutting the neck of the sheep, the goat, whatever they are cutting. And they do it with full faith. It is in the dharma to eat meat. Muslims eat meat. Christians eat meat. And therefore, you will find people who are butchers in the Christian community and the Muslim community. I think that we should not think of them as adharmic. Our religion says that it is adharmic for us. So, okay, but it is not adharmic for them. We need to shift our way of looking at them. They are doing, that is why he goes to heaven, because he is giving his 100% to his labor, whatever labor he is doing. And he is praying to God and cutting this thing. That is why it is called whatever it is called, that halal meat or whatever it is called. They let the blood out so that the bacteria that is there in the blood goes away. So he is very skillfully carrying out his profession. And that is not adharmic to him. A Muslim does not consider it adharmic at all.
This is going beyond the religion. I feel the tattva of ahimsa I'm talking about over
Which
here.
religion are you talking about?
No, I'm not talking
In
about
their
any
religion,
religion.
hinsa is allowed.
That's what I'm saying.
Animal,
If
this thing
he
is
gets
allowed.
that,
We may
yeah,
worship
but
animals, we may worship nature. They don't.
yeah, that's what. Once he gets the knowledge, and if he shifts his profession,
Which
what's
knowledge? Why should he take the knowledge of the Gita? He takes the knowledge of his Quran.
should it
And
be
there it is
like that?
written how he has to cut the meat so that it becomes halal meat. It is there
So
in his Quran.
so
So it is in
yeah,
his religion.
But should he be, I mean, if he happens to find this knowledge, like there are many who have read
If he
this,
happens
or
to
if you
find,
have,
then that is all ifs and buts. No,
yeah, that's
that
right.
is not going to lead us to realizing ourselves. To
No,
each his own.
the question came over here. He should keep doing his work. That's where the question came.
Yeah, he should keep
Should
doing his
continue
work
his duty.
according to his dharma, and that is his dharma. And he's giving his 100% to it, so he'll go to heaven.
Correct.
Uh, yeah, but if suppose if I find someone around me who's doing this, is it okay for me to go and give this knowledge like he should be doing? And
Knowledge
if
should
he
be given
agrees
when it
to,
is required by somebody who's ready to receive it. Astavakra Gita chapter first, it is said there. Knowledge should be given when somebody is ready to receive it. When he respects you, when he puts you on a higher pedestal than you, then only knowledge has to be given. We don't give knowledge to anybody. That is the first sign of a guru. He will give knowledge only when it is required, when the person desires to get the knowledge. He is happy with his religion. He doesn't want your Gita ka knowledge.
Mm.
Where is the question of giving it to him?
Hmm. Okay, so
We
he
need
should.
to follow our own religion also very properly. Like Astavakar Gita, it is very well said that only
Hmm.
what are the parameters when a guru should give knowledge to somebody who is really thirsty for knowledge. That is why in our this thing we consider it to be all sacred knowledge to be a secret.
Hmm.
Only to the extent that it is digestible, we give the knowledge.
That's right.
Would a Muslim be able to digest the knowledge that follow ahimsa and don't kill goats? When it is written in his Quran how the meat has to be made halal?
Hmm. Okay.
Leave them to why sit in judgment whether they are doing something wrong according to our religion.
No, no.
That way, in our Parsi
The
religion, they
question.
say that when you put the body on the fire, you are making the fire impure. And therefore, in our scriptures, it is written that if you find somebody burning a body, you can go and kill him.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
this is what is all okay. Every to each religion is own.
Hmm.
I don't go killing people because they are burning bodies on the funeral pyre because they're
Hmm.
making the fire impure. Okay, that is
Hmm.
their way of this thing. In our religion, it is considered that you are making the fire impure by burning a dead body on it. So I'm not going to give that knowledge to you and try to change you. Okay, don't burn.
Okay. So we don't interfere at all, is it? If something is going around us,
See, this knowledge is all about realizing ourselves. Let
hmm,
us realize ourselves first. Let us get enlightened. Let us give up our desires to change the world. When God
okay,
could not do it, how can we do it? We don't. God cannot make everybody happy. How do we go about making everybody happy? Even he has failed
okay,
to do that.
all right, okay, thank you.
That is
You're
what was very
welcome. Sorry,
beautifully.
I didn't mean to just giving a different dimension to it.
No, 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 it opened my
Sorry.
eyes, definitely. Thank you so much. No,
Swamiji
I
had
mean,
mentioned. Yeah, go ahead.
Somewhere I heard Gurudev was saying, "Are you want to change the world?" And he smiles. It is a fruitless exercise. How much you will change the world? First,
Correct.
you get change yourself.
There
Look
is
at
one.
Guruji, na, he goes everywhere. There is our TOK, even in China now. They are total non-vegetarians. In Mongolia, there are so many non-vegetarians. He doesn't tell them to not, there is no vegetation there. The Mongols eat non-veg. And Guruji does not give them gyan on non-veg and veg. Where knowledge has to be given to what extent? which can be digested by the person sitting opposite you who's thirsting for knowledge.
Jai Gurudev, and also entire West also beef eaters. Can't go and tell them go hatya and all is not correct. So, no. Jai Gurudev.
I think in I don't remember which chapter of the Gita, it is said, you continue to continue to be doing your duty, be an exemplar, but do not unsettle the minds of people around you. And this, I think, is quite, that is what is being discussed now.
Yeah, especially in Karma Yoga, that's what they say.
Yeah.
If you tell somebody else not to do something, and then you definitely, even whatever they're doing, they're not going to do. And then they'll be in confusion mind. So it is important not to disturb a person, that whatever they're doing, they, like Percy said, when they want, they will come to you, and that point you can explain all that. But that again, we have to not step into everybody's shoes, and we may not understand everything. Like especially in the northern part of the whole world, it's pretty much ice and no vegetations, and what vegetable they're going to eat. So that's how they were for ages. And so depending on their environment, people choose their food.
And he says, no, what right have we to judge? Things are the way they are, even with your own life. Forget about others. With your own life, you are not in control of anything.
Exactly.
In something, some endeavor you take up, there are so many factors that have to come into consideration for whether success, not success, failure, whatever is the consequence. So many factors are involved there. You are just a minute part of that. And when we do our duties with this attitude in mind, it's all about the attitude in our mind. That is what is spiritually progressing. So when we don't have any control over what happens to your life, how can we have a say on what others are doing, what others are thinking, what others are, what professions they are in? Is that beautiful? That full paragraph is about total acceptance. Accept people and situations as they are. That was very beautiful.
I like one more thing in the next paragraph. It is said, when you are born, where you are born, like means because of your some lifetimes karmas, you are born. And this time, what he said, ki, where there is a conflict, there is a war, at that time, that place, you should not be born. But it is not in our hand. So see, when we are born, we are so lucky where we are born now. But
Correct.
now the next generation and all, we have to think about it.
That is why it is so
Nothing
many
is in control. We can do only our duties.
Being born at a time when Gurudev is there alive on the planet itself is a big blessing.
On a lighter vein, Gurudev says many a times that the population in India is maximum because everybody wants to be born in India. It is that desire, last desire. This place is so holy. And that is why the population of India is the highest in the world.
Wow, so nice to hear this.
That's so beautiful.
Are we beyond China? I thought China was the most populous.
No, now China is not, it has controlled its population, no?
It's the one-child program.
Yeah, one-child program.
Mm-hmm.
People are literally have to run away to their villages or something if they get pregnant. And then in all privacy, they deliver. If they get caught, then they are finished. And the parts are simply sold away, their internal parts, organs which are required.
Shall we go back to Shloka 17 where we left yesterday? Anybody else wants to share anything? Please go ahead. So the Astikya Buddhi was very beautifully brought out here, no? Astikya Buddhi is having that Shraddha in the words of the Shastras. Just like how he gave a beautiful example of how you trust your eyes, what you see. If Swamiji shows up a crystal and says, this is a rabbit, and he starts giving it all kinds of descriptions. But your eyes are seeing only a crystal. So you believe your eyes rather than what is being said. So if that is the Shraddha you can have, if in the words of the Shastra, that is the Astikya Buddhi. That is why it is said, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. That Shraddha has to be there, otherwise we'll be reeling in doubts. And it is also very beautifully, I think 2-3 times he had mentioned, unless we have Shraddha, the words of the Shastra will not do their magic. And in one part, it was so beautifully described the steps, how Manana is. Let me just go to that. Manana and then Nididhyasana. Let me just read that one more time, because I thought that was it was important to, that was, I think, in 42, maybe.
Yeah, 42.
42, right, Villa? Let me just go there.
Yeah.
And he spoke about, he very clearly distinguished Brahmanas, their only qualities given, not karma. So any ashrama, any varna can become a Brahmana. That is what the Vedas want. That is what the Shastras implore us to. So a Kshatriya can become a Brahmana with respect to his virtues. Similarly, a Vaishya Shudra. So these are virtues that have to be emulated. It is so everyone can become a Brahmana in his attitude. There is this one.
That's what I was meaning, Brahmaraji. Like if the butcher wants to change his profession, whatever way, like whether he got the jnana or he read the book or whatever, he should be able to change his profession. That's what I meant. He can become a Brahmana.
Continuing what he's doing, he can still be doing. That is his profession. Just because he's chopping meat does not make him, what is it? He should be doing his duty with.
He should be doing, or does he have any choice? I mean, do we not have a choice to change our professions?
Next example is given of the Vaishya. He can be a businessman, but he can be a Brahmana in how he should be.
I'm not here to
Vaishya
change
also,
anybody,
he
but I'm not here to change anybody, but on his own, if he wants to.
That will be based on his karma,
I didn't ask
the
it.
time. Valia Lutara became sage.
Bela, I think, I don't know whether it's my internet or yours. There is a little shaky. Is that?
I mean, for his destined. It is according to the God to do the same. It is their karma.
Bela, your internet was
it is.
shaky for the last 1 minute. You may have to repeat what you said.
Hari Om, can you hear now?
Yes, now it is fine.
Yeah, I was telling that it is like Sage Valmiki. Valia Lutara became Sage Valmiki. It is, or Angulimala, because of the presence of the divine, he was able to change himself. But it is not like we don't have to judge. It is based on their karma. The time will be there when they will. I mean, it is destined for every soul. It is destined what is going to happen. It is, I mean, we cannot interfere in anybody. I mean, I feel that it is completely automated system.
Right. I think so. That is how it is. Even the thought that he has to change is also because of his own past karmas. Even if a butcher wants to change and become someone like Angulimala or Valmiki, it is not that some God came and it was their own past karmas. Ultimately, it is all our own doing.
Guruji always says that this present moment has all possibilities and anything can change anytime. When you apply that, when you have that awareness and when you apply that wisdom, you can reduce the effect of your past impressions. Regarding changing your position or all that, I don't know. But right now, whatever you're going through, there is a possibility to reduce. This is what I think. There is a possibility to reduce the intensity of that karma. I feel so. I don't know much on that. This is just
Yeah,
my...
but to come in this knowledge also, it is our karma, prarabdha. I mean, it is our karma that we have this opportunity to be in knowledge. Today, the
Yes.
whole chapter, the whole discussion was on Kartrutva Bhavana. I mean, Satvika, if we see, no, that was so beautifully defined by Swamiji to begin with in
Can
the
we
20.
start the 17th verse? I
Yeah.
know we kind of spent enough time on this.
We'll start. Can allow me to just read this part of Manana and Nididhyasana, and then we'll go to 17.
That'd be good. Thank you.
So, let me, what is this? When I see, okay. If Brahman is just known, if Brahman is just known as a word, that means the cause of creation. That is not really knowledge, but simple Shraddha, just like a belief in the existence of heaven. The difference between these two beliefs is that I have to find out later whether heaven exists or not. But since the world is Brahman right now, by understanding that, I can know Brahman right now. When I say that I don't understand how the world is Brahman, that I see only the world but not Brahman, it is still Shraddha. Even if I say that Brahman is the cause and this world is the effect, I have some more understanding about it, but not real knowledge, jnana, because Brahman happens to be myself. Therefore, this knowledge has to be converted into immediate knowledge, aparoksha jnana, of myself as Brahman. Then, if in spite of having this knowledge, there is some doubt about myself, or I believe just the opposite about myself, this viparita bhavana has to be taken care of by analysis, manana. And if there is a habitual error that makes me take myself to be other than Brahman, in spite of clear knowledge, that has to be removed by contemplation, nididhyasana. This will make the knowledge clear and free of doubt, vagueness, error, and any habitual orientation that is opposed to the knowledge. This clear knowledge is called Vijnana. This is the distinction between Jnana and Vijnana with reference to Atma. So the stepwise approach is so beautifully given here, in that the knowledge that Brahman is yourself, Aham Brahmasmi, that Tattvamasi, that is the knowledge, but that has to be converted into you're going one step into the aparoksha jnana, that immediate knowledge, by doing manana, because we have this viparita bhavana that I am not Brahman. You identify yourself with the body and say, I am the body. Brahman is we considered separate from us. So this viparita bhavana has to go, and for that you do complete analysis. That is manana. That analysis is manana. And in spite of manana, if there is a habitual error that makes me take myself to be other than Brahman, then you do the nididhyasana, contemplation. This will make the knowledge clear and free of doubt. So then you're converting the jnana to vijnana. I will just stop the share, otherwise it's difficult for all of you. I'll stop share and I'll go up to 17, and then
I really admire Swamiji's skill to explain so beautifully every point.
time consuming, I think, but just give me a minute, it's done.
Jai Gurudev, I join now.
Where did we stop yesterday for 17?
I think page 210, I think. Is that the one, like, even if Atma is itself not the Karta, why cannot it not be a Karta along with the other factors? I'm thinking that's where we stop.
Was it here? Kevala Atma. We finished this. No, if the jnani kills, he does not kill. Even if Atma by itself is not the Karta, why can it not be a Karta along with other factors? I think we did this. Keval Atma cannot do any action.
Back.
We started here, no? Whole Gita Shastra deals with Pravritti Nivritti. No. Okay, we'll start from here. Yeah. Can I request everyone to mute yourself in case you're not speaking so that there's no background noise? We'll start from here. Kevala Atma cannot do any action. Then what is the meaning of the word Kevala? While it can be used in the sense of merely, as it has been taken by the objector, it can also be used in the sense of pure. It alone exists, nothing else. It is by nature free from any modification or attribute. The word Kevala here should be taken in this sense of purity, restating a fact about the self. Therefore, in the previous verse, Kevalam Atmanam Kartaram Pashyati Durmatihi does not mean that Atma alone is seen as a Karta. That is not the meaning, and the next verse confirms it. That the self does not perform any action is very well known in the Shruti, the Gita itself, the Smriti, and it is also reasonable. Gita says, Atma is not subject to modification. It is avikriya. Actions are done by the gunas. Gunaireva karmani kriyante. Even though obtaining in the body, Arjuna, Atma does not act and is not touched. Sharirastopi kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. The same thing is said in the Shruti. He seemingly meditates and seemingly moves away. Dhyayati, dhyayati, iva, lelayati iva. Atma does not do any act of meditation, nor does it get agitated and move away. It only seems to do so. By reasoning also, we can see that the self is avikriya, actionless. By reasoning also, it can be established that the self is without parts, not dependent on anything else, and not subject to modification. Atma is the one thing that is self-evident and therefore does not depend upon any other thing for its existence. If Atma has parts, they must exist in a locus. And a locus is necessarily an object and therefore anatma. Parts of Atma residing in anatma is untenable and therefore Atma having parts cannot be supported by reasoning. Also, because it is self-evident in the form of Chaitanya, everything else becomes evident to the self, including limbs and attributes. They are not self-evident and therefore not Atma. If you say Atma is subject to modification, they are not self-evident and therefore not Atma. If you say Atma is subject to modification, how do you know this? There should be another Atma seeing the Atma that is undergoing changes. And if we accept this, we will get into infinite regression. Second Atma to see the first, and the third to see the second, and so on. Even if by some stretch of imagination, you are able to say that Atma is subject to modification, you still cannot establish that Atma is the Karta, the doer. What would be its action? It could only be a change centered on Atma. If the physical body, mind, senses, etc. are performing action, it is their action. How can their action be the action of the Atma? Even accepting that Atma is subject to change, the actions involved in bringing about that change are not the actions that emanate from the physical body, mind, and senses. Further, if you accept that Atma is independent of all of them, then that Atma cannot be the agent, karta, of actions done by the body, etc. When the physical body, mind, and senses perform their actions, how can Atma become the karta? even if it is subject to change. The action done by one person cannot go to another person who has not done that action. It has nothing to do with him. A given person's action belongs to that person alone, and no one else can be held accountable for it. You may argue that though the physical body performs the action, you have identification with it and take the physical body as yourself. Consequently, due to the ignorance now obtaining, karma that is done can go to Atma. If you say this, I will say, live long, Ayushman Bhava. For that is exactly what I'm saying. Even then, Atma does not become the Karta. If due to ignorance, Atma is taken to be a Karta, that agency, Kartritva, is not real. Shankara gives an example. A shell that is mistaken for a piece of silver does not become silver. If you see silver due to your own ignorance of the fact that what you are looking at is a shell, you see a silver which is not there at all. Similarly, if you see an action in Atma due to your ignorance of the actionlessness of Atma, that does not in any way belong to Atma. It is like cloud forms seen as palaces and dust seen in the space by children, not knowing that these things do not belong to the space. It is impossible to perform an action without bringing about any change. That is the basis of Shankara's argument. Without change on the locus of action, there cannot be any action. Conversely, wherever there is an action, the locus of that action must subject itself to some kind of change. Without action, you cannot even close or open your eyes. Even deliberately not opening the eyes implies a mental activity. Action always implies some motion, some change, and the changes that take place in a given part of the body, etc., belong only to it, not to Atma. What is said here in this verse is proper. Yasya nahankrito bhavo buddhir yasya na lipyate hatvapi sa iman lokan nahanti nani badhyate. The mind of the one who has no notion that he is a doer is not affected. Even killing these people, he does not kill and is not bound. His mind is not troubled with remorse about what he did and did not do, because there is no sankara, mix-up. That wise person does not do the action of killing, nor is he bound by result of action. Shankara points out the statement in the second
Excuse
chapter.
me, Ramana, excuse me. What is Sankara?
Sankara is mix-up. Sankara jati, they say, no? Sankara is mixing up. Because he's not mixing up the confusion of doer, non-doer here. Even though he's killing people, he does not kill. He's not bound. He's not in conflict. He's not affected by guilt that, oh, I've killed this person. Because he does what is to be done. That's it. So there is no mix-up. There is no conflict of remorse or guilt about the action of killing or whatever action he does. That is the Sankara. Sorry, Sankara.
Confusion means confusion.
Yeah,
Not clear.
mix-up.
Mix up.
Yeah, mix up means confusion.
It is same like Sandeha, doubt. When you
Sandeha
are
is
The doubt would be different than confusion,
doubt
right?
Yeah. Doubt is, see, when you are attached to deha, sandeha, your doubt starts, means you are questioning everything. So that time you have to attach to breath. Guruji was telling us one time, instead of having sandeha, you put it to attachment to the chaitanya, that is breath. Similarly, your sankara means you are attached to the work, kara, work. So
I don't know
instead of
whether that is how it is, Sureshji. Sankara is simple word. It means mix up.
Mix up, okay.
Mix up. Like you have, see, intercaste marriages, they say Sankara Jati. That is
Oh,
the thing up that Sankara. So here in his mind, he's done something and his mind is troubled by what he has done. He's killed someone, for instance. He's done his, take Arjuna, for example. He's going through this Sankara right now because he does not want to kill his Bhishma Pitama or Dronacharya because in his mind, he is troubled by the action of killing. But when his mind, when he is clear that Atma is not the doer, this Sankara is not happening in his mind.
okay, good.
Got it, no? So this, confusion.
That is the first chapter.
Yeah,
Sankara is the first.
Correct.
Okay,
Even
good.
in the first Hariom, even in the first chapter, Arjuna, when describing his Vishad, he told that if I kill my own clan, then the ladies will marry other and Varna Shankara.
Varna Shankara.
There also he.
Correct.
Yeah.
Varna Sankara, not Shankara. Shankara
Yeah,
is
Kshamyatam. Varna Sankara. Yeah.
So that wise person does not do the action of killing, nor is he bound by the result of action. So he's not left with any remorse. Arjuna explains, he says, instead of killing them, it is better that I get killed. And otherwise I will incur a lot of papa by doing this. So he's caught up in that conflict and that I am the doer. These are my people. This is the result of my action. So he's got all that mix up in his thoughts. Whereas when you're clear in your knowledge that the Atma is not the doer, he is not affected in any way. He's not bound by it. That wise person does not do the action of killing, nor is he bound by the result of action. Shankara points out the statement in the second chapter of Gita. He does not kill, nor is he killed. Na ayam hanti, na hanyate. That is because it is said, he is not born. Na jayate. This statement reveals the changelessness of Atma. The entire view of the Gita Shastra is presented here properly. Both the one who looks upon the Atma as an object which can be destroyed, and the one who looks upon the Atma as a subject of the action of killing or any other action, do not know the Atma. Ubhautau navijanitaha. Atma does not perform the action of killing or become the object of somebody's act of destruction. You cannot objectify the Atma to destroy it, and therefore Bhagavan went on to say, Nainam chindanti shastrani, weapons cannot destroy it. I cannot objectify you, the Atma, in order to destroy you, nor can you as Atma perform any action. It is not possible that Atma is either the subject or the object of an action. Having made this initial statement, he gave the reason why Atma is not subject to death, decay, etc. It was never born Na jayate. There was never a time it was not there, nor having been there, later it will not be. Na ayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyaha. This kind of a problem does not exist for Atma, because Atma is not subject to time. It is unborn, it is eternal, ajaha nityam. By giving these statements of reasoning, he tells us that Atma is not subject to modification. It is avikriya. It is the only thing that is. It is, I'm just saying it's not mentioned here. So it is that advitiya, nothing else. It's not born. So where is the question of it dying or changing? Only a thing that is born, like for instance, the Sthula Sharira, the one that is born, is subject to change and modification. What kind of action can one perform? There are two types of action. One that you do and one that you prompt someone else to do. Both are your actions. But the one who knows this indestructible, eternal, unborn, imperishable Atma does neither of the actions. How or whom will that person destroy or cause to destroy? He does not perform any action whatsoever. This is sarva karma sannyasa by knowledge. Such a person is no longer enjoined to do any karma because he is not a karta. Having said all this briefly at the beginning of the Shastra, in the second chapter of the Gita, Krishna elaborates upon it wherever there is an occasion in the Gita. Even while doing, he does not do. He says, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, going, sleeping, breathing, etc. He does not think he is doing any action. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit. Pashyan, shrinvan, sprishan, jigran, ashnan, gachan, swapan, swashan. He also says, the one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction, karmani akarmayah paschet, akarmani cha karmayaha, he knows the truth. And says in the 13th chapter, even though obtaining in the body Arjuna, he does not act. We have seen varieties of verses like this in the Gita, showing that Atma does not perform any action. Now, he sums up the vision of the entire Shastra to bring it all together in one place. It is something like gathering rice grains that are scattered all over into one heap. Krishna knows he is reaching the end of his teaching and therefore sums up the whole topic under discussion by saying here that the wise person, the one who knows Atma, does not destroy, nor is he bound. The whole Gita Shastra deals with pravritti and nivritti. The whole Gita Shastra is dealing with karma and sannyasa. Shankara also makes it clear in his introduction that it is centered on pravritti and nivritti. And Lord Krishna himself says, Arjuna, in this world, a twofold commitment was told by me before. Knowledge for the renunciates and karma for the karma yogis. Lokesmin dvividha nishta pura prokta mayanagha. Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yogina. In this chapter, you will see again how clearly the Shastra unfolds what is real sannyasa, what is the lifestyle of sannyasa, and what is karma yoga. The entire Gita revolves around these three topics. Sarva Karma Sannyasa is the main thing to be accomplished, for which you can live a life of either Karma Yoga or Karma Sannyasa, in which there is no other pursuit but knowledge. In both these pursuits, there is Karma Phala Tyaga, renunciation of the results of action, because actions are not done for punya, but for moksha. So that is the attitudinal shift we have. So we are doing things not for punya, not because it is good, that it will give us a better birth and better life and all that later, but for moksha.
Moksha. You know,
Aim
this
at the,
1,
aim
2,
at the
3.
highest. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So this is probably the reference of those verses they had given, right? I don't.
Yeah, these are the references of the verses he is given, no?
Yeah.
Najayate Priyate Va, and then 5, 8, 4, 18, 13, 31. All those are the.
No, this means we have to aim at the highest moksha.
Correct.
Not at. So we are doing our karma only for moksha. Whatever we do should be for result of moksha, not for anything else. Then only we will have that.
So in the Purusharthas, it is said Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. We will have to realign that to Moksha, Dharma, Artha, Kama. So the mumukshu's only goal is moksha, that's it. And because it is moksha, he automatically will fall a line in, and follow a dharmic life. Then Artha Kama come in the end. But his priority.
Artha Kama follows, not it follows, it comes. This one, Krishna says, no? What? Your yoga kshema is looked after by me if you follow this.
That is true.
So if you follow moksha and dharma according to dharma, this artha kama automatically is covered.
Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. This is the last verse, but Yogakshemam Vahamyaham is also there. I don't know which chapter that is.
Paritranya, that's in the.
Paritranaya sadhuna
Yeah.
Dushkritam Nathaya Sambhavam Yuge Yuge.
It's it is a part of Vishnu Sahasranama, but also it comes in the, I think it's a 7th, we just read it, right? Like one of the chapters. We did the sloka, Paritran, yeah.
Paritranaya. I think this
Yeah.
is in chapter 4.
Is it 13? Yeah, somewhere because we are chanting every day, right? I think one of the chapters, I thought I read it. I don't remember. I'll find out tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sarva Karma Sannyasa is the end point. And both Karma Yoga as well as Sannyasa, the lifestyles, 2 committed lifestyles, so to say, reach this end point. And the last connecting link is the Sarva Karma Sannyasa. So
I think this comes in chapter 9. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam E Jana Paripasate Tesham Nithyabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Viharam.
Yeah, very good.
9th chapter, 22.
Okay, thank you. I think this Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham is the motto of LIC, I think, if I'm not mistaken. LIC, I know it's a little deep.
Yes, 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 yes.
The one who has the knowledge of the Atma is completely free from karma because he no longer has any sense of agency, kartritva, and therefore no identification with the body. It is very clear to him that he performs no action because all sense of agency and actions stemming from that are caused by ignorance. When this is so, there is total renunciation of all actions in the form of knowledge, and therefore the three types of results of karma, ishta, anishta, and mishra, do not exist for him. This is that verse, anishtam mishtam mishram cha trivida karmano gatihi. Yeah. Just 5 verses ago, it was said after death, there is a threefold result of karma: desired, undesired, and a mixture of the two. For those who have not renounced their sense of doership, but never for sannyasis. As long as there is an identification with the body, and therefore a sense of doership, it is not possible to avoid karma phala. It will stick to you because you are the doer of the action. Shankara himself says here that this is the essence of the meaning of all the Vedas, and that after properly analyzing it, it should be understood by learned people who are capable of discrimination and inquiry. These are those whose mind is rendered subtle and can therefore probe into the subject matter. Wherever there was an occasion for it, the difference between karma, sannyasa, and sarva karma sannyasa was shown, keeping in view the entire Shastra as well as reasoning. Reasoning is important as a support for the assimilation of the meaning of the Shastra, because there are other possible interpretations. What the Shastra says can be above reason, no doubt, but it cannot be irrational. So this is the aspect of Manana that is there, where you reason out and you assimilate the meaning. The whole tradition is presented very clearly here. The Vedic tradition, is centered on karma. Either one does enjoined karmas and kamya karmas in keeping with dharma. When moksha is established as the end to be accomplished, one gives up kamya karma and does enjoined karmas as karma yoga while pursuing knowledge. Or one gives up even the enjoined karmas and pursues only knowledge. All this one does for moksha, which is the complete giving up of doership. Something that is possible only by knowledge. You don't do anything in reality. In the wake of knowledge, Atma is discovered as one which is incapable of action. And in that sense, the renunciation of doership takes place. Therefore, there are no byproducts of karma for this person. No karma phala, no more birth and death. In these few lines, the whole Gita Shastra has been summed up. Previously, we saw the fivefold constituents of an action, adhisthana, etc. And then the grouping of the actions themselves under 3 heads, Kayika, Vachika, and Manasa. Now, what exactly impels one to do this threefold karma? This Krishna tells us in the next verse. So does anyone want to share anything? So we have about 20 minutes now. One suggestion is to go back to Karma Yoga and then pick up from where we left. That is one. Second is to read further down in chapter 18.
Brahmaraji,
Yes.
today I did not attend because of the follow-up. Which verses he did today, Nanaji?
Today we did verses 17. 17, I think we did yesterday, no?
Yesterday, yes.
42. No, sorry, 25, 26, and 42.
Okay, then. 25, 26, and 42. I will read it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jai Gurudev, Dr. Brahmara,
Yes.
can you just tell like from which verses the sequence Nanaji is going on?
Yeah, what I will do is he sent me an email. I will post it as a mail to all of us in that group.
Okay.
So you will also have the order that he's picked up.
Yeah.
I've
Thank
posted it only to Bela and this one, Sumaji, because they wanted to also read. So, but I will post it now that
you can post in the group also, like everyone the verses which are important. Nanaji is covering them in very detail and very
correct.
nicely. So we all can go through it again ourselves also.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do that. I will post it in the group.
Thank you.
So should we go to chapter 3?
Dr. Zanga, can you check the chat I wrote?
Yeah, 6 to 7, Manana. Yeah,
And
fine.
whatever you decide,
Yeah.
just let us fix it so that I can hospital work on the night. I know it's on the YouTube, but if we fix like Nana's class, that will be very beneficial if everyone agrees.
Correct. I think maybe 5 to 6, we're talking of Bahrain and Kuwait time. 5 to 6 is Nana's session. 6 to 7, we can have Manana. Maybe
and then they stop at 7. So, we have to rush to work. Except Friday, Saturday, if you like.
Yeah.
Because I often miss my meeting, which is at 7:30. It's up to everyone, not me.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it. I think it's a good suggestion. We will close
at
7.
Six any time which is suitable to all, so that we know when it will finish.
Correct. I think we will stop at 7. We'll do 1 hour of Manana. We had extended a little because we were doing two things. We were doing Tattva Bodh, Atma Bodh, and then we were doing Bhagavad Gita also. So that's why it had got a bit extended to 7:30. But I would think maybe assimilating, it's not just important running and reading, right?
Yeah, even if we do 2 slokas and we absorb it, it's better. And you also had your yoga class, so
that's okay. So I think we'll stop at 7. We'll start from today. Today is already 7:13, 15 now. Thank you, Dr. Renu. So maybe
what is Indian time? What is Indian time?
Indian time 7 will be 9:30, I think. So 7:30 to 8:30 will be Nana session for India, and 8:30 to 9:30 we'll have Manana. I think that will be ideal. So maybe tomorrow, it's of course, knowledge is knowledge, but we also have our commitment to complete chapter 3. So we'll see how it works tomorrow, whether we can do half an hour of chapter 18 and we'll go back to chapter 3. That is what we'll do. That way we will be able to cover some ground on chapter 3, because there's so much of karma yoga is actually runs in and through the Bhagavad Gita. So as understanding that is also very important. So we'll close here today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Hari Om.
Dhanyavad Brahmaraji.
Ramradi, could you share the verses we did today? I joined late.
Yeah. Verses we did was the 25, 26 and 42.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.